Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. Our guest today is Dominic Mariche, who is one of the stars of the upcoming film Kids vs. Aliens that is available in theaters, digital, and video on demand on January 20th. Dominic, thank you so much for being our guest today. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. So we're like, what is it today? We're like 9 days away from the premiere. I mean, are you nervous? Are you excited? What's going through your head right now?
I am ecstatic. I am so happy with how the movie turned out, and I'm really excited for other people to see it too.
And I gotta tell you, just from the title, people might be a little misled. Kids versus aliens. They're thinking, okay, it's kids, extraterrestrial, alien, fun, family film. It's anything but. It's a horror comedy. It's very dark. It's very intense, and it's a great film. So let's get right into it. Like we just said, it has some pretty intense scenes in the film. What was it like for you shooting this type of film?
It was definitely a step out of my comfort zone, but I would 100% do it again. I feel like all the other shows that I've done have kind of been like really Nickelodeon, family friendly, and a lot of F-bombs were dropped during this movie. It is definitely more of an adult movie, but that's just what makes it funny, right? Because a
Yeah,
bunch of kids.
a bunch of kids literally saving the world. And that's definitely one way to see it. Now you have to go through some extreme physical, intense scenes in the movie. You're underwater, you're running around, not to mention all the special effects. What was that like?
It was pretty pretty okay, actually. During some parts of the movie, we actually had to take some wrestling training for some choreography. It was super cool because during wrestling training, there was this like giant 6'8" guy. He was absolute powerhouse, and there's little old me, 5'1", taking him down hard. It was so much fun, and the chemistry with some of the other cast members was great as well. They had just as much fun running around, swimming, doing things in the wrestling ring. It was just so much fun. They had just so much fun.
It looked like you guys had a blast. Now, when you were presented the script or were pitched the story, when you got through the whole story, read it, heard about it, what were your feelings on doing this type of film?
Again, I was a little nervous, honestly, because I had never done anything like this before. But then, the more that like we did the table read, the more that I got to know the people and everything, the more it just like all welded together really nicely, and I just started to love it even more.
Now, you have like 16 credits to your career already, which is amazing. Is this your first role in a horror film? And if it is, what was it like stepping into the horror genre?
This isn't my first horror film, but like I've done Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon, where we run away from this evil shadow man. Um, but this is my first like feature film. I've done like a Hallmark movie, but this is not even close. Complete 180
Oh, yeah.
from a regular Hallmark movie, right?
Absolutely. Now, your character is Gary, who is this young, aspiring filmmaker. And I've interviewed a lot of filmmakers, and it's amazing how realistic it is that a lot of their stories is, well, I ask them, how'd you get started? Well, basically, when I was young, I picked up a camera and just started shooting and making these stories and films. So that was very realistic on how they sort of inputted that into the film. Uh, did you like that side of it sort of being realistic on how a lot of filmmakers in real world got their start, and they incorporated that with your character, Gary?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't think Jason Eisner, the director, had aliens abduct him as a child. But oh, actually, you never know. I
Yep.
mean, you probably want to get that from him and not me. But um, yeah, it's got this like sense of just child bliss to it, you know? And then there's Billy.
Oh God. Okay. Now, Bill, I'm talking to Caleb tomorrow. So,
He's so nice. He's not at all like his character, by the way. He is so nice.
so that was actually one of my questions. Billy is this mean, abusive, selfish. You can even call cowardly. Does some unspeakable things in the film. What was it like working with Caleb when the cameras were not rolling?
Like sometimes it felt so real because he did this thing where he would like prep himself beforehand. Like if there was a scene where he had to be like really angry, he would like
Get into the zone.
and like the rest of the cast knew not to like let him prepare. And then during the scene, it was so real. Like I felt like genuine fear when he was angry. Like, whoa.
Now, you got a chance to work with a lot of other actors that are close to your age range. As an actor yourself, I mean, does that make it easier to be working with, your peers and you guys turn to each other for help, advice, how you're going to play a particular scene, and so on?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. There wasn't really any issues with chemistry because Jason, he took us all to an arcade before we all started filming. It was so much fun, so many flashing lights, bright colors. There was a pizza party afterwards. It was just so much fun. So yeah, not so much looking for each other for advice because I feel like Jason did a really good job with picking who he wanted to play each character because we didn't really have to try that much to fit our character, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what to tell a director. 70% of directing is casting. And he looked like he picked the right people to do the right roles. Now, your sister is Samantha, your older sister, who is played by Phoebe Rex. What was it like to work alongside Phoebe? And was she sort of a mentor to you? Did you guys, you mentioned you had good chemistry. Did you and Phoebe sort of work off each other really well?
Yeah. Yeah, we were more like friends than brother and sister. Um, I don't really know how to answer that too well.
Well, how'd you
Again,
think?
we were, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, Samantha, she has some pretty kick-ass moments in the movie, wielding that sword of hers. I mean, when you were watching that and being in the scenes with her doing that, what were your thoughts? Did she just was she having fun? Just going to town with that sword and so on.
Yeah, you could tell she really enjoyed it. Um, there was a lot of really like bloody and gory scenes, and being there and seeing how it was done was definitely an eye opener. Yeah, you could tell she was having a lot of fun with it.
Now, Gary, your character, and Samantha come from a very rich, well-to-do family, but your parents are never around. Okay, and Samantha really is the person who is sort of raising Gary. Now, if you when you put yourself into your character's shoes, That makes me feel sad for both Gary and Samantha that their parents are not there. How did that aspect of the story make you feel?
I feel like that's what made Gary like impulsive, kind
Hmm.
of, because I feel like Gary doesn't really think before he acts. Um, Reminds me of myself. But um, yeah, I feel like that's definitely a big part in the flaws of Gary and Samantha as a character.
Now, as the movie unfolded, there's a moment where you apologize to your sister for being such a pain in the butt. You know, is it that moment that Gary realizes that, this is my sister, I love her, she's really like the closest thing I have to a parent, and does he legitimately feel guilty for how much of a hard time he's been giving her?
Yeah, yeah, I feel like he always kind of knew that, but his own like stubbornness kind of got in the way of that. And it only took being abducted by aliens to for him to realize that. But besides the point.
When you saw the final, product in the screening or whatever, the aliens are pretty damn scary in how they present themselves. There's a whole thing while you're filming and you're having fun and everything is special effects. What kind of reaction did you have when you were watching the final product?
I knew what happened. I was there. I saw all the special effects being done, and it was executed so well that I still felt fear while watching the movie. Like, I saw the aliens put their costumes on. I high fived one of the dancing aliens in the corner offset. And still, I was freaked out when they started coming out of the darkness. I was like, oh, that's really unsettling.
It really
And
is different when you're on set and everything's light. You don't have the music that you see when the movie's actually being played. The effects are all put together. It's a totally different experience. Now you have a lot of experience in television. For you, what is, if any, one of the biggest differences, not only going from TV to film, but being one of the lead roles in this film?
I am pretty new to being a main character in a show. There was this show called Are You Afraid of the Dark for
Hmm.
Nickelodeon. Same same kind of idea. There's this horror element to it. We have to run away from the evil shadow man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like this has been like a little eye opener. I feel like Are You Afraid of the Dark was forever ago. That was like pre-pandemic. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost alien now. You see what I did there?
Yeah, it's a nice little pun. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
I love
yeah.
the poster, by the way. As a
Yeah.
lead star, and being on that call sheet every day, does it add extra pressure on you that you never felt before?
Not at all. It feels the more I am on set, the more fun and exciting I get because it's like, what am I going to be doing today? How am I going to make this movie like fit together well, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, no pressure at all because all the cast and crew is really nice and it all just made it flow really nicely.
Now, did you have a lot of fun? It looked like a lot of the effects were practical effects, uh, covered in that goo, and you saw other people covered in that goo that we see in the movie. For you, did you enjoy watching that and being a part of that?
I did feel pretty bad because one of the actors had to swallow this like goo that's supposed to like dissolve your
Yeah,
skin.
yeah.
She said it didn't taste that good, so ugh, I'm sorry that you had to do that, but yeah, really know how to say that.
It was a different experience. Let's just put it that way. Before we
Yeah.
go, Dominic, I have to ask you, out of the entire film, which scene did you have the most fun with shooting?
I really liked the scene where, without spoiling the movie, of
Mm-hmm.
course, where we emerge from the water
Yeah.
and we have to climb up that dock because with a little bit of movie magic and editing, we were actually in a warehouse filming that. Like you'd think that we were
Yeah.
at the lake that we
Yeah.
were just at like less than 20 seconds ago, but I don't know. It just makes me so excited because it's just like you never think that we're in a warehouse, but we are. But it doesn't look like it. It's just
Movie, movie magic, just like you said, movie magic. Dominic, I want to thank you so much. Guys out there, the movie is called Kids versus Aliens. Don't let the title fool you. This is a pretty dark, scary horror movie with some comedic elements put in. A lot of it by Dominic himself in your character. He's very funny. He's a smart ass. He can be serious. He's very mean to his sister when he wants to be. And, you know, and Siri just said, I don't know how to respond to that. And just Dominic is an all around fun character to watch. Dominic, I want to thank you so much. The movie Kids vs. Aliens is available in theaters, digital, and video on demand January 20th. Be sure to check it out. Somewhere down the line, it is going to be available on Shudder as well. Do you have any final thoughts before we go, Dominic?
don't bring your kids to watch the movie.
Exactly. This is not a family movie. This is definitely not
Yeah.
a family movie. I want to thank our audience, those of you who are tuning in live and those who will be watching later on. On behalf of my guest, Dominic, and myself, stay safe and stay walking. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.